Good evening. The December 31 deadline for the consolidation of public utility vehicle operators will not be extended. In a social media post, President Bongbong Marcos says he held a meeting with transport officials where they concluded the deadline will not be stretched. According to the President, 70% of all operators have already committed to and consolidated under the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program. He adds that the government cannot let the minority cause further delays, saying the current timeline will ensure that everyone can reap the benefits of the program's full operationalization. Meanwhile, Transport Group Piston says it will push through with its nationwide strike starting December 14. The group says Marcos' statement further drives them to continue the transport strike. Piston reiterates that if the deadline on December 31 would push through, up to 60,000 drivers and 25,000 operators in the National Capital Region alone would lose their jobs. Chinese President Xi Jinping was just quiet and stoic when President Bongbong Marcos brought up issues in the West Philippine Sea. In a television interview, Senate President Zubiri recalls asking Marcos about the president's meeting with Xi on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco last month. Citing the president, Zubiri says Marcos told Xi that the tensions in the West Philippine Sea would not have escalated if China and the Philippines, quote, minded their respective businesses. According to Zubiri, Marcos urged the Chinese president not to do aggressive maneuvers, pointing out that the Philippines is only doing resupply missions and helping fisherfolk in the area. Over the weekend, Chinese vessels rammed and used water cannons against Philippine vessels during two separate support missions within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Organizers of the West Philippine Sea Christmas Convoy are planning to do another mission next year. At nito, Coalition Head Rafaela David tells INQUIRER.net that they will hold a summer mission to bring gifts to frontliners in the West Philippine Sea, adding they would come up with more creative ways to support them. According to David, they will apply all the lessons they learned from their first ever Christmas convoy in the West Philippine Sea, saying they will prepare against China's maneuvers. The mothership of the convoy, TS Capitan Felix Oca, left Palawan on Sunday morning, only to turn back on Sunday afternoon after being shadowed by a China Coast Guard ship. A Philippine boat in the convoy, MV Choi, was able to drop off supplies at Lawak Island. Opposition Senator Rita Ontiveros calls on the Department of Justice to issue an immigration lookout bulletin order for self-declared appointed son of God, Apollo Quiboloy. Ontiveros makes this call in a press conference, saying the move would prevent Quiboloy from leaving the country.
I urge the Department of Justice to issue an immigration lookout bulletin order, which they can do motu proprio to prevent Quiboloy from leaving the country. He must not escape accountability. Our children's lives are at stake.
The senator earlier filed a resolution which seeks to investigate Quiboloy and his organization for alleged involvement in criminal activities such as sexual abuses and human trafficking. According to Ontiveros, it will be better if security agencies can coordinate with their international counterparts to prevent Quiboloy from evading justice, since he might be proven guilty of the crimes charged against him.
Hindi masama kung makipag-ugnayan ng DOJ at NBI sa counterpart nila sa US para masigurong hindi makatakas sa kamay ng batas o ng hustisya si Quiboloy kung mapatunayan ng aming pagdinig ang mga reklamo laban sa kanya.
An alleged extortionist posing as Interior and Local Government Secretary Benher Abalos was arrested last week. 27-year-old suspect Edison Montealto was presented before the media on Tuesday. According to Abalos, the suspect was arrested in an entrapment operation in Lingayen, Pangasinan on December 7. The suspect either mimics the DILG chief's voice or introduces himself as an official of the agency. Abalos likewise reveals that Montealto would call local government officials and solicit or borrow cash ranging from 30,000 pesos to 50,000 pesos.
Nahuli din siya yung kumuha ng pera. Kasi may mga, ang gagawin po niyan, magpapa-Gcash ka, kung ano-ano. No? Tapos yung iba, hindi man Gcash, yung mga kinukuha yung pera. Actually, siya yung nagsabing siya si Larry Abalos. No? Pero sa totoo lang, sa pagtitingin ng aming grupo ay talagang sindikato. Marami po ito at malaki ito. Pero huwag kayong mag-alala, nakatutok po tayong lahat dito.
According to Abalos, Monte Alto is now under police custody and has been charged with identity theft concerning the cybercrime law, estafa, and spoofing. Abalos says he only learned about the modus after a mayor of Cotabato and a governor called and informed him that the suspect had victimized them.
So madaming tumatawag. Kaya ang ginawa ko, finorm ko itong team ng internal security ko, sila pinahanap ko. Yun ang dilemma ko, hindi ko kagad may announce dahil mauhuli na nila Once mahuli nila, o i-announce ko, baka maglipanan baka magtakbuhan Uy, wala ako staff na Larry Abalos at lalong never ako nangihingi, masikanino. Kaya please, at hindi lang ako yung mga ibang mga, alam ko marami rin nabibiktima mga mayor, governor.
Police say one of the gunmen who allegedly shot and killed 2 bus passengers in Nueva Ecija last month has been arrested. In a report on Tuesday, Police Regional Office 3 identified the suspect as Alan de los Santos, who was arrested in Dilasag, Aurora on November 20. According to authorities, de los Santos is a known gun-for-hire member in Nueva Ecija in Isabela. Police say the suspect delivered his extrajudicial confession, revealing his involvement in killing victims Gloria Atilano and Arman Bautista. Citing the confession, Nueva Ecija Provincial Director Colonel Richard Caballero said in an earlier briefing that de los Santos was hired by Atilano's son to shoot the victims. Meanwhile, Philippine National Police spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajardo says 4 suspects, namely de los Santos, Atilano's son and his live-in partner, and an unnamed gunman have been charged with 2 counts of murder. According to Fajardo, the complaint was filed before the prosecutor's office in Nueva Ecija on Monday. Jimin and Jungkook of BTS begin their mandatory military service. In a social media post on Tuesday, the group shares photos of Jimin and Jungkook with their shaved heads, marking the beginning of their military duty. RM and V began their service on Monday. With their 4 members having enlisted this week, all 7 members of the group will be actively serving their mandatory military duty. Jin began his service in December last year, followed by J-Hope in April and Suga in September this year. The septet is expected to reunite as a group by 2025. Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. President Bongbong Marcos announces that there will be no extension for the consolidation of PUV operators. Defense Secretary Gibo Teodoro calls out China for its roguish behavior after using water cannons twice in a row on Philippine vessels. And government employees to receive one-time service recognition incentive of up to 20,000 pesos. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. It's 13 days before Christmas. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.